What's up, baes? Welcome back to my channel if you're returning, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Lay, and thank you so much for joining me today for my full leg day. So let's get into it. Saturdays are usually reserved for my intense heavy lifting days for legs, just because I have more time and I'm usually able to spend, an hour to an hour and a half in the gym. So I just really enjoy having that time to myself to, really work on my goals, work on my gains. So I start off with some stretching, and I also work on some ankle mobility as well, because when you're squatting, you definitely want to make sure that you're stable, your ankles are stable as well. So I do work on a little bit of that, but I try and start off my routine with stretching to help reduce the amount of soreness after my workout, as well as to prevent any type of injury. Me in particular, I don't like to necessarily say bad knees per se, but as a former dancer and a former track athlete, my knees give me a little bit of trouble at times, so I always try and make sure that I'm stretching those out before my workout as well to prevent any type of injury. This particular stretch is good for stretching out the quads. So today is a full leg day. It's not just a glute day, it's a full leg day. So I want to make sure that everything is nice and loose and I'm ready for my workout now. And then I start with a little bit of glute activation before I even touch any weights. So here I'm using a heavy resistance band, and I'm just going to do a couple of sets of 10 each side of glute kickbacks with the resistance band. And that's just going to help me to basically target my glute muscles, get them activated, get them ready for some gains, some heavy lifting. I would highly recommend, if you are trying to grow your lower body, grow your glutes, to do some type of activation before you even touch any of your weights. You can also do this on the cable machine. You can use a medium, a light, a heavy resistance band, whatever works best for you. You just want to make sure that you are, particularly concentrating on your glute muscles if you want to take advantage of that full activation. Then I usually do some hip abduction. So the purpose of this is to target your side of your glutes, or your hip abductor muscles. This helps to support your hips when you're standing on one leg, which helps with things like balance and mobility, and then also glute activation, which is what I'm particularly working on here when I'm doing them prior to my weightlifting. Now I'm going to get started with my weight training. So prior to adding any weight to the bar, I'm just going in with the squatting motion, just getting in a few sets of squats without any weight. Just want to make sure that my knees are loosened up enough. If I'm feeling any tightness, then I'll go back and do more stretching. But I basically just did like 2 sets of 10 to 15 reps just to make sure that I'm loosened up enough, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start adding my weight. So I'm gonna start off with 135 pounds. I don't know if I'm gonna add anything to that. I kind of just see how I feel. Again, I do not play when it comes to my knees, because those are an integral part of so many different exercises. So I'm constantly stretching, constantly loosening up those knees, starting off with a 45-pound plate on each side, and then the actual bar itself is 45 pounds. So that's a total of 135 pounds. And I'm just gonna do a traditional back squat with this weight. And then prior to adding weight, I'm going to do a second set with just the 135 pounds, and then I'll add to that as I go throughout my workout. And then as I add weight, I'm actually going to transition from a traditional squat into a box squat. So here I have 155 pounds. I've added 10 pounds to each side for that total. So just so you all know, if you really want to increase your lower body mass, increase your glute mass, you really have to lift heavy. Now, I didn't get to this overnight, so now I'm squatting and box squatting over my body weight, but I didn't get to that, just by picking up a weight one day and saying, okay, I'm gonna lift 135 pounds. You really have to progressively get to that point. So don't be afraid to start off with squatting just the bar, and then throughout the weeks, add 10 pounds, add 20 pounds, add 30 pounds, and so on and so forth. But the point is, you are challenging yourself. It's not about how much weight that you're lifting. That's why you can't really compare your journey to someone else's, but it's really about what is challenging you. If you are consistently challenging yourself day after day, week after week, and that is how you're going to see the growth and the gains. I also progressively increase my load during my workouts as well. So I pretty much know what I can handle at the end of my workout. So I kind of know how to gauge my next workout and kind of where to start and where to finish in regards to how much weight I'm lifting. So I've added another 20 pounds, 10 pounds to each side for a total of 175. The other thing I want to mention is that I don't I don't do the same amount of reps as I'm increasing. So if I'm progressively increasing the weight, I also decrease the amount of reps. So let's say I start off at 8 reps at 135 pounds, and I might do 6 reps at 145 or 155. When I get to 165, 175, I may do only 5 reps. I really have that mind-muscle or mind-body connection, so I know what I can handle. And if I go down for that 4th rep on 175 and I know there's no way I'm getting back up if I do that 5th one, then I won't do it. And that's perfectly fine as well. So you have to know what's going to challenge you, but you also have to be smart as well to prevent any type of injury or anything of that nature. In my last set of box squats, I actually went up in weight to 205 pounds, and that's actually a personal best for me for box squatting. I've never gone over, I believe, 195-ish, so I was super proud of myself. It's also a good way to kind of gauge where I'll start and where I'll end next week when I come back to this, and I'll probably end up doing at least 215, maybe even 225, so that's super exciting for me. You have to give yourself time to get there. You have to give yourself time to progress. Give yourself time for your muscles to recover. And that's the important thing. If you're trying to grow muscle, you have to allow your muscles time to recover. Rest is so important. It's just as important as getting the workouts in themselves. And on my heavy lifting days, I usually try and do at least squats, whether that's box squatting, traditional squat, deadlift, and or hip thrust. So especially if I am targeting my glutes, I almost always try and do hip thrust unless I'm short on time or forgot equipment or something like that. But hip thrusts are a really excellent exercise to target your glutes. And what I'm gonna do today is actually do a couple of seconds of hold at the top. So one thing that I was noticing is I didn't really feel the glute engagement like I wanted to when I wasn't doing that hold at the top. And you'll see here that there's a straight line from my core to my hips as I go up, and I'm pushing through my heels, the heels of the bottom of my feet, pushing through that to lift the bar, and then holding at the top. And that straight line there shows you how engaged my core is as well. So it's not just about, your lower body, it's also about your core. And this is a great way to also strengthen your core muscles. Then I'm going in with the Romanian deadlift, which is one of my absolute favorite glute day exercises. And I'm doing this with two 35-pound dumbbells, just making sure that I'm going down and engaging my lower body as I get to the top, and really making sure that I'm not pulling with my back, but I'm literally pulling with my hamstrings. And you can even see it in the video. Look at this guy, guys. I know he saw my camera. But anyway, just making sure that I am, pulling with my lower body. And I usually do a couple of sets and about 10 to 12 reps. And finally, I usually finish off with leg extensions because I am trying to target my quads and, making sure that I'm strengthening my quads. So I try and either do just a regular leg extension, or I'll even do single leg extensions as well. So that is how I finish off. That's my finisher exercise. It's been working really well for me for the last couple of weeks on my heavy lifting days. So I'm just gonna keep it up until I find something else that might be more effective. And that concludes today's workout. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And of course, make sure to like this video if you would like to see more glute days, more lower body focused days. Definitely let me know. And of course, click that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.